job. So remember, when I'm up here with you, you gotta practice your squeeze tight knee. And your toes go up. Like mom. All right, you ready? Sit up straight. Sit up. And sit walking down the line. Keep your airplane.
Oh, where are we at?
Horseback riding lesson. Horseback riding lesson.
Yeah, Rennie just got to go on a little trail ride with the instructor. So we're just looking at all the horses. So the girls are all starting in English lessons per my trainer's recommendations. So she has suggested that they start in English lessons because the kids really want to barrel race, but they don't actually really know how to ride yet. Because like I didn't want to teach them to ride because I am learning to ride. So we didn't teach them on our own horses. So anyways, Taylor is a friend of who I take lessons from and who trained Lav for a little bit, Lavender. She suggested the girls start in English because it is really helpful for them to learn in English since they don't have like a horn to rely on for balance, and then move over to Western. Cute little kitty. Hi, buddy. Cute little kitten.
Over there. Stand up. Sit there. Stand up. Sit there. Stand up. You can do it. You can do it. All the way forward. See, you're fine. I got you.
This was very friendly, Mommy.
Uh-huh.
She was very friendly.
Say what? Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. You did it. Good.
It is a beautiful, balmy 4th of July. It's very warm. The sun's beating down. Thankfully, the humidity isn't too bad. But today, I am out here. Hi, Essie. Hey, yeah, you're good. Oh, yeah. We did this temporary line up in here to split this into about thirds. Well, they've been on this for, what? I think like Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday is when we finally got this in. It's about 4 days, 4 or 5 days, compared to over here. Over here's green, real nice and green. They haven't touched it yet. So essentially we need to take this midline and bend it around, leaving an access point over to the shelter and the water. So this will remain open. That portion will get closed off. And then I think I'm gonna run straight line all the way to that corner post. So they'll have access to this area for the next few days. And then once they finish up there, I'm gonna have to kind of jimmy rig and figure out how they'll get up to that corner while still having access back this way. Make sure they stay on green, because I just came out here and Essie was back here. We don't want them back here. This pasture is what they've been on for the last few months. A long time, too long. As you can see, very brown. So essentially from this post in this gateway, I'm gonna take a line from this post straight out probably about that T-post back there somewhere. Closing this off so they can't access this. Give it at least a few weeks, hopefully a month or so, to rest because it needs it. Or a week full of rain on the forecast, which will be fantastic if it actually comes, because these pastures need it. Hey Snicks, how you doing, bud? Essie here has been a bit pushy the last few days. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's just, I mean, she's had access to more greenery than she has for a while. She never really gets to be around the golf cart though, so this is a fairly new experience for her. Oh, you get all them good smells, huh? Okay, we've got work to do. I tried to grab all of the tools that I thought I might need up here today, so hopefully we've got what we need to accomplish the tasks at hand. Just place an order, another order with Premier One Fencing to get some better supplies for doing this type of rotational grazing. I had these grand plans of how this stuff might work pretty well, but without having like a reel on it, not ideal. You know, this is all just learning as we go, trying to figure things out. What works, what doesn't, what is easier, what is not. What we've got here is a handle. This is rubber, so it is essentially insulated handle. Can hook this onto an electrified line, and then this will become electrified, but you can grab it, disconnect it without having to get electrocuted or shocked when you do that. Probably about a football field, so 300 feet, 100 yards maybe, of line. And so in order to tighten it, I've got these like little twisty things. So the camera died on me before I finished this up. Anyways, you can see Essie is over here in the new area that she's got some fresh greenery for, and she's pretty thrilled with it. We've got it connected to this hot line, so this high tensile steel is hot, and again, we've got the handle, converts it over to that, and we've, as you can see, it kind of goes straight across to that gate all the way over there. Again, that gate is open, but it goes over there, and then there's the, you can actually see the other string starting to go all the way across, kind of cutting it off. So it's just a little pathway there. Essie and Snicks have got a little bit of green here for the next couple of days, and then in a few days we will readjust this line and it'll give them access over here. And yeah, that's about that. We still got a lot of things to do to make this a little bit easier and more seamless, especially considering we're going to be consistently moving animals through these pastures every few days. And we still got to kind of figure out what we're doing specifically with the goats, because even these lines here, goats won't stay in. They'll just go right under. So we'll probably still use the temporary fencing that they're in right now and just bring that into the pastures to make that a little bit easier for them. So I'm gonna put the drone up quick and just get a few good aerial shots of kind of what we've done up here, and then really just a full property overview, because we haven't done that in a while. So we'll get to see the garden, pastures, pigs, all that stuff. This drone, what was purchased for really fun and for video and stuff, obviously we haven't been doing a whole lot of videos lately, but it has become very, very handy just in terms of utility and being able to put it up and get aerial shots of the property, being able to start planning as far as, okay, what's going to be pastured in, what isn't, where are things going, kind of just overall what we envision the property looking like long term. This has come in super, super handy. And in this video, you can really start to see how brown this was, where that line was. You can see a distinct line right here, where that line was that I just moved today. It's very distinct and obvious why we had to move her. And then of course this pasture is terribly brown. What has always been called the front pasture, but I guess is now no longer the front pasture because we got this pasture in. And so we got all kinds of plans in terms of different things we're gonna do. Like this area back here behind the barn is gonna become a fully fenced in like wood side pasture for Snicks, because he's got, obviously he's blind, he needs something that's a little more stable to help him. Obviously we got the barn, and then we've got the big pasture. Ooh, one of the things that you guys haven't seen is we did put in a new access point from the driveway up to the barn, so that's come in real handy. You can see a nice path there. And then the horses, by golly, in this pasture the horses really just stay in the same spot. You can see they follow the same path right up there where they're at now. They've got a water trough, and they kind of go back down to the driveway, up back towards the back of the fence line, and then over by our house where the van is, there's another water trough. So they really like to keep their pattern. So we've got to do some more rotational grazing up there as well. You can start to see on the left side of the driveway all of the brown spots. So we've been moving the goats and the calves around with the Premier One fence netting, electric fence netting that Arianna talked about in the last video, or was it this video? I don't know, sometime. And so that stuff's been really helpful, being able to move them around. Actually, last night we just moved them into this little area right here, really thick with vegetation. So they'll clean that down in about a week or so, and then we'll start to move them again. Hopefully next time we'll actually move them. We'll be able to separate the calves from the goats and put the goats in the actual big pasture, because there's a lot of weeds and stuff that the goats will eat that the other animals won't. So we want to get them out there, start cutting down some of those weedy things, and then we'll be good to go. Just again, let some of that good stuff start growing back. And then coming over here, you know, we've got that big old tree and brush pile, and then right next to that, this little area here is the goats, or not the goats, sorry, the pigs. This is where the pigs are at. You can see. I wonder if somebody just gave them some treats, because they're looking for stuff. But you can see how brown that is. That is actually going to be become a garden down by our house. So we're basically putting them in there. We're gonna expand that slowly, giving them a little bit more area, but then also allowing them to tear up the ground a little bit more, fertilize it, prepare that for a nice garden. And then down here in this really green area, kind of following, that's interesting, there's a lot of really green, but then also some brown. Basically from that brush pile down to the creek, that gets really fertile, because that's where the water flows down to the creek. Anytime we get a real good rain, all the water flows down that way. So we actually did plant some fruit trees down there. But then of course we've got the backyard. We got the chickens. And then back here we do plan on putting some additional pastures down on the north side of our house in this area, just because there is some decent grass. It's not like really good, but with rotational grazing and getting the animals out there, the animal manure, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that, but as that starts to break down, it fertilizes the soil, which in turn makes that soil better, allows more things to grow, and you know, just all around better soil. So that's kind of what our hope is yes, the soil isn't great back there right now, but as we start to cycle animals through there, that soil will become amended. It'll start to get a little more nutrients in it, and things will start to grow a little bit better back there. And of course down here we've got the range, kind of this little area right here. We've got a whole bunch of 5-inch fire hose that we got from the fire department that they were getting rid of. So initially had plans of filling those all with sand and making like a nice backstop for the shooting range. Not sure that's gonna happen, just because that is a ton of work. And here, look at this. Miss Essie is right here, just saying hi. Hey girl. In the way back here, it is like super green and lush in this back corner of the property. When it rains, that gets very wet, very moist. However, because we've hardly had any rain for about the last month, I mean, we've gotten in the last few days a few nice drizzles, a couple of really short, heavy rains, but nothing really substantial at this point. So it's actually still pretty dry back there, but very green. And I mean, there is the creek that goes back there. And now, kind of into long-term vision here. Hey, why are you doing that? You're shaking the camera. Long-term, our hope is to be able to buy this, because it is just great pasture land. Actually, our hay guy that will no longer be haying our fields because we've got too many animals on them, he hays that currently. All those hay bales have been sitting there for about a month and a half now. I don't know why they're still sitting out there. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Nessie?
Just got the drone up, trying to do a quick overview of kind of how things are looking right now. And there's a whole lot of brown. I mean, you could just see all this brown. Wow, that is interesting. All the septic fields.
Oh,
you can just, oh my goodness, super sensitive because it's super zoomed. Just how green right where the septic is. If only I could start to see some green like that in my backyard. over the septic.
You need to have grass first.
Yeah, this is true. You guys must not have very nutritious excrements because I don't see green by you.
I don't think we've been there long enough to fill the tank.
This is true. Oh, and look at those beautiful mountains back there. So gorgeous. Never get tired of that view. You know, we've still got tons of work we got to get done around here. Different things we want to do. Kind of start to expand our operation. Long term, we would love to be able to just do this full time. You know, provide for the community is really what it comes down to. Is there's so much joy in this type of lifestyle, especially in this crazy world that, you know, it's funny. Everybody says it's crazy times we're living in, and when you think about it, over the course of human history, this is, yeah, there's some chaotic things going on, but as Solomon says in Ecclesiastes, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. But yeah, just being able to help out the community by having nutritious food, especially when it becomes harder and harder to find and more expensive to buy that really nutritious food from the store. I mean, having the ability to grow that on our own property here and be able to provide that to friends and family and anybody else around that wants to partake in that it's such a blessing. And you know, it's definitely by the grace of God that we are here, that we have this opportunity, and we certainly want to be stewards of it. Who would we be if God provided these blessings and we kept it to ourselves? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's so absurd to even think about that. So yeah, certainly just being able to invite people here, provide them again with that nutritious food, it's such an honor and such a blessing. And we would love to be able to get to a point where we could expand and be able to provide even more for even more people. But it takes time. You gotta have a vision. You gotta keep your mind, you know, on the prize, and certainly at the heart of it, be reminded and know for a fact that it's not of our doing. It is absolutely 100% by the grace of God that we have this opportunity. It's so humbling. I don't know. It's hard to put into words. You know, we've been here on this property for coming up on 2 years, and it just gets more and more fun by the day. And being able to raise our kids here and be with family, it's amazing. Isn't that right, Essie? Oh, yeah, there you go. Right here, she's fertilizing the pasture. Just how we like it. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Now I want you to go somewhere else and do that. Well, I think that's probably going to be it for this video. Hope it gives you something to think about, something to potentially look forward to. A few years ago, you know, I would have never guessed that we'd be out here raising animals, and you know, having the opportunity that we do, but here we are. Looks like she's trying to sleep. Just stand up, just droopy eyes. You are so sweet. Even though you've been a little pushy lately, it's okay, I'll forgive you. You've been good. Say, I just want green grass. I know, we're working on it. We need some rain, we need some lime, and we need a whole lot of your poop and pee. So just keep at it, girl, okay?